Hey guys, you're here with Navasky Anderson, professional 800-meter runner for the Baltimore 800-meter group. Represents Team Jamaica, Olympian, qualified for the World Championships to go in Tokyo in a few days, getting ready for that. And yeah. Alright, let's go today guys. We have a great session ahead of us, lever day today. I'm just gonna do a quick 12-minute warm-up in, mile and a half, something like that. Just to get the blood flowing, get legs warm, get legs ready, or to get into some active stretches, a few drills, and hit the lever king, that's what I do,
Yeah, Navasky's just coming off of 2 weeks of racing, getting back into some threshold work. Typically use the lever for all of his threshold work. Today he's doing the 7x4 minutes. Pretty consistent with what he's been doing the whole year. We'll kind of gauge things off effort. So he wants to be 6.5 out of 10 effort-wise. And we'll also gauge things by heart rate. So he's going to end up being like between 155 and 160 on heart rate. But yeah, biggest thing, effort. Super controlled, controlled breathing, controlled posture, and yeah, 6.5 out of 10 effort.
So let's bump the lever up for the 11.5 miles per hour. 0.5 on the incline, but it's a good run.
So obviously the team uses the lever a couple times a week. How do you incorporate the lever into the team's training?
Yeah, main reason we use the lever, or I guess main purpose, is for threshold work. For 800-meter runners, I've kind of learned over the years that when they think they're doing threshold work, it's not really threshold work. So, your traditional, repeat Ks or, 3-mile tempo runs, things like that. If you actually look at what the 800-meter runners, most 800-meter runners, especially like your speed-based 800-meter runners, if you actually look at what they're doing physiologically, it's probably not accomplishing the goal that you want in terms of aerobic development. So yeah, the lever allows us, again, specifically like our speed-based athletes, it allows them to take a little bit of the load off, one, so they can get more volume in, which is a key component of getting in work, and two, it allows them to run a little bit quicker so they can have better mechanics. For example, if you have an athlete that their threshold pace is 6-minute pace on land, they might be able to run 5:30 pace on the lever with a little bit better mechanics. It also allows them to recover quicker. So a threshold session, a traditional one might take an 800-meter runner out for a couple of days, but the way that we utilize it, they're able to come back, a lot of times the next day, or maybe a couple of days later to get in, other type of training. For 800-meter runners, you need to be able to sprint and you need to be able to build endurance. Lever's been really, really good at allowing us to do both of those things. Again, be able to get endurance work on the lever, your typical threshold type stuff, and be able to come back a couple of days later and sprint, or come back the next day and get in interval work. Again, it's a tough balancing act trying to get everything in a training week, but we've been able to figure that out a lot easier with lever.
So since incorporating lever into training, how have you seen improvements in performance in races from the team across the board, and specifically Navasky this season?
Yeah, definitely in terms of 1500 meter times, or mile time trial that we do in December every year. Times have dropped dramatically. One athlete, Vince Chris, with 4:17, I think, pre-lever, 4:07 on a 200 meter bank track post-lever. To me, that's a pretty good sign of aerobic development. In his case too, got a lot better at handling rounds. Made a couple indoor finals at altitude in Albuquerque, which before that, struggled a bit coming back that next day and competing. We've seen that kind of across the board. I'd say too, like, the levers allowed us to be able to handle just a higher load of work. So again, be able to build a better base in the fall, utilizing the lever once, sometimes twice a week, so we can handle a lot higher load of training later in the year to make sure that we're kind of progressing through the year, having our best races later. In addition to that too, like, it allows us to keep aerobic work later in the season. Temperature controlled environment on the treadmill, again, taking off the load when we're racing and things like that. Again, Navasky just came a few days ago, ran close to his PR, coming off of 2 weeks of racing. It might be a little bit tough to get in the amount of volume he got in on land, but because the lever is pretty non-invasive, we're able to come back a couple days later and get in that threshold work, and then get back into a good rest of the week training. For Navasky specifically, he came in with a really good training background. He's training with the world champion Marco Arop, and probably the best collegiate 100 meter coach right now, Mark Woods, over at Mississippi State. So it was one of those things of how do you actually help a guy like that get better. One of the low-hanging fruits for Navasky was keeping him healthy. So he's had a really good career, but every year he's always kind of found himself in a situation where he's had a longer layoff. The levers allowed him to kind of just stay consistent, stay healthy. A good example was 3 weeks ago, he ends up having a little bit of a foot issue, was planning to run a mile. We kind of scrapped that, got to work on the lever, and then came back, ran a PR in the 800, got fourth at NACAX, ran 144.1, and then following week ran, second best time ever, ran 144.2. So it allowed him to kind of, not feel the need to go out and force something, because this has allowed him to be consistent all year, and kind of just keep things together. So for him, it's really, really allowed him to keep the volume up while keeping the intensity up, and just, again, juggle those balls a little bit more than he might have in the past. He's just, again, a really, really good athlete, really, really tough athlete that's going to want to push through things. So the lever's been a tool that has allowed him to be, just consistent and staying healthy, and I think that's been pretty imperative to his development this year.
So obviously, like, you joined Under Armour this year, and this is your first time incorporating the lever into your training. How has incorporating the lever into your training kind of helped you become a better athlete and help your performances on the track?
Most importantly, being a professional athlete, that means being consistent. And for one thing for sure, the lever helps me to stay consistent, and just consistent aerobically, but consistent, meaning like injury-free, So that's one of the things that I look forward to the most, just being on the lever like twice a week, just being able to get my legs off the track, feel like I'm not pounding on my legs each and every day, So whenever I'm on the track, I could get to focus on the track, but at the same time, I'm getting such quality workout from the lever system whenever I'm on the lever.
So obviously you've been extremely consistent this year. You've ran a lot of your best times under 145 4 or 5 times this year. What kind of work do you specifically do on the lever that has helped you find that consistency this year to run some of your best times?
With the lever, I've used the lever in multiple ways. Whatever is for workouts, whenever I'm feeling fatigue, whenever I'm feeling like a midnights, where it needs to be cleaned up. But for me, even during the fall, I use the lever every other week to do long runs. I even be doing hour runs, miles, 10 miles on the lever. So I do a lot of mileage on the lever, but at the same time, when it gets down to competition season, do like 7 by 4 minutes, 7 by 5 minutes, 8 by 3 minutes, 8 by 4 minutes, you know, with 1 minute rest, keeping the heart rate high, sometimes down to 45 seconds rest, you know, so it's just like whole different system. You use the lever depending on what you need at the moment, you know. So that's how I kind of channel that into my workout. It's just like an altitude, but it's just such a cool way how you can just use it to do different workouts and get all that pressure off your legs, ease all of that body load, and it's just a perfect system.
Can you walk through the workout that you did today on the lever? What was it? And then kind of the purpose of it, and like, you know, obviously you're building up to Tokyo, and how this workout is helping you, is going to help you going into continuing your build up to Tokyo.
Yes, just like today, it was just like 7 by 4 minutes. You can think of it as if you're doing 7 by K, 7 by 1K, but it's just that instead of doing 1,000 meters on the track, I just channel all of that and put it on the lever in a 1 minute rest, even less rest, to 7 by K on the lever. My heart rate would be as high as my heart rate on the track. So when it comes down to my lungs working and my heart working, all that pumping, it's just literally the same thing, but it's just that I am now being able to do that workout with less pressure, if you get what I'm saying. I don't have to be worrying about grinding around the track. I could just easily let the lever help me do the work, especially at this point in the season, which is vital. I know I'm fit, I know I'm fine, I'm healthy, I'm ready, so there's no need to be stressing about hitting hard workouts around the track. It's just being in cruise control and let the lever take over.
Obviously you talked about how the lever helps you, like, you know, reduce the stress on your legs and like take off a little bit of the load that you would like experience if you were just running on the ground. How does that help you recover when you like work out on the lever and allow you to kind of like do a workout like you did today and be able to come back a couple days later and do a harder speed session, or even like you just ran 144.2 a couple days ago and you were able to quickly come back and do that workout on the lever? How does it help you with recovery?
Well, this is what my mind is like. My mind keeps telling me whenever I go on the lever, it's like it's a recovery workout for me, or a recovery run, because 50% I can channel the lever to take off 30%, 40%, 50% of that body weight. Not 50%, but at least 20-30% of that body weight. And it just feel like I'm just in cruise control. Whenever I'm done after a lever workout, it just like feels like I didn't even work out, which is the ultimate goal. Feels like you haven't done anything when you have to put that work in. So that's the beauty of it. It's just like taking away all of that pressure.
How are you feeling?
Last rep, still chilling, still bouncing. Always a great day at the level.